If you showed me your weekly routine, I can guarantee that I would be able to tell you if you were going to be wealthy or not. Because when your life is chaotic, your money is chaotic too. If you want to reach your goals in 2026, and I can guarantee that if you are here, if you are part of the Coffee Money community, you want to reach your 2026 goals. You don't want to just reach your 2026 goals. You want to reach your goals every single goddamn day. So if you want to have an epic 2026, you want to save more money, you want to buy a property, you want your investment portfolio to hit 100K, you don't need more discipline. You need systems, life flows, if you will. Not just money systems, but systems for the entirety of your life, all aspects of your life. I like to call these systems flows. Life flows, money flows, calendar flows, because they remove the resistance from your life and allow your life to flow. They remove the decision fatigue from your life, and it sets you up perfectly to execute what I like to call the decide once rule. I hit every single one of my goals in 2025. This is crazy. This year was so big for us, so big. And I will acknowledge that this year was like our harvest season. So we had like the sowing season and the growing season and the hard work season. And this was our harvest season. Like all of those years of hard work, of laser focus, of consistency, they all came to a head this year. So I do acknowledge that. But I truly believe that if I hadn't have employed these systems, I wouldn't have bought our first investment property, got a promotion for less hours of work and way more pay. I hit every single one of my 2025 goals. This blew my mind what we were able to achieve this year. And I really hope that this video allows you to set up your mindset and your life, not just your mindset, but like the actual parts of your life that will allow you to do the same. We bought our very first investment property. I got a promotion with way more money for less hours of work. I ran a half marathon. We moved rentals into this cozy home, which I absolutely love. And that was just the first half of the year. We continued to smash our goals out of the park for the rest of the year. I ran a 24-minute PB on my second ever half marathon. If you're a runner, you know how big a 24-minute PB is. We saved $40,000 and we took a 2-week holiday that I will cherish forever for my 30th birthday. I truly put this insanely successful year down to 2 things. One, my annual word of the year. I started this a few years ago and it gives you like a focus or something to hold on to throughout the entire year that guides your daily micro decisions. Every year I give myself a word or a phrase to live by for that year. So 2024, it was laser focus. It was cutting out the bullshit, shutting out all of the noise, putting my head down, putting my little, what are these things called? You know the things on that they have on horses, putting those in and locking in. Then for 2025, my words were consistency and leaning into discomfort. So these words that you pick at the beginning of the year, they give you guidance for every big decision that you make that year, but they also give you guidance on your micro daily decisions. They like guide your every day, your every week for the whole year. And it really gives you this like intentionality for the year, which is so beautiful. And it really allows your life to flow. Focusing on consistency last year meant that I had to set up systems or flows for each part of my life. And this has been truly where the magic has just exploded. So if you take everything I have to say in this video as gospel, I promise you, you will smash your goals in 2026 and your finances, holy dooly, you will not know her. You will see an insane shift in your life. And I want that for you. I want that for you as much as I want it for me. If you're ready for this insane glow up for your money, your health, your business, your life, keep watching. And thanks so much for being here. You're listening to Coffee Money. We're not drinking coffee today. We're drinking some fibery goodness that is absolutely freaking delicious. But let's get into it. Okay, so today is not a little chatty cafe session. No. Today we are clocking in to a cafe work session. We have brought our laptops. You have your pen and paper. You have your iPad. You have absolutely everything you need to clock in. We are working today, working together and having fun, but we are working. By the end of this episode, you're going to walk away with an actual system. Not ideas, not motivation, an actual system, an actual flow for your life so that you can hit every single one of those goals that you have written down for 2026. It is almost impossible not to hit your goals, not to be consistent with your habits if your whole life is systemized and flows really nicely. If you have a money flow, a home flow, a food flow, and life flows, there is no way you can mess up your goals. There's no way. There will be times where maybe it's a little hard or maybe 1 week doesn't quite work out, but there is actually it's pretty much a zero chance of you not succeeding if you just keep coming back to these flows. And as a little pro tip, January is a trial and tweak. It's a trial and tweak month for these flows. So don't set this up and expect it to just work straight away. No, we are all in the trial system. Let me tell you, this week has been, let me tell you, okay? So it's trial and tweak January. Don't be harsh on yourself. But we are going to succeed this year. But, and I want you to hear me when I say this, if even one area of your life is chaotic, it bleeds into the rest, especially your money. Nothing harms your finances more than a chaotic life, than a life that is unstable, that doesn't flow, that meets resistance at every turn. Money touches absolutely everything. Every part of your life, money is involved in some way, but it is also impacted by every part of your life. It's like a little vice versa relationship. It's a little give and take. Your life and your money, they're not separate spheres. They overlap. So when you fix your life, you fix your finances. And I'm not saying, look, listen to me. I'm not saying we have to fix every last thing in this hour right now. I'm not going to be one of those people that tell you to have goals in every area of your life, because that's just, we do one thing at a time, okay? But setting up flows for every area of your life, that is different. Setting up micro habits, making sure your life is flowing and not met with resistance, making sure every day kind of just is with ease, that is what we are aiming towards this year. That is what is going to make all of the other things fall into place. Don't confuse what I'm saying with having goals, big goals for every area of your life and having to do everything all at once. I'm not saying that. I'm saying let's set up systems so that your life flows, so that then it doesn't sabotage, because we are very much a work on one thing at a time kind of gal over here. To really just show you how much I truly believe that, I have one big goal for the year. One. That's it. Well, I have one and then a sub goal. But the one big goal is this podcast. It is to post every week for this podcast. But do you know what I have to do in order to set up that goal? I have to make sure that every other part of my life is flowing. I have to make sure the routines are right, the habits are right. That all has to flow in order for me to have the systems that set up for success in this goal. And that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about having a million goals. And for anyone who is interested, my sub goals is just to go to Pilates twice a week and run at least twice a week. That's it. They're my sub goals. So, and I'm already kind of doing that. So it's just to maintain that. My main focus, my big thing for the year is posting weekly on this podcast. One thing at a time kind of gal. When you're disorganized, your life gets expensive. You buy food because you didn't prep your lunch or your breakfast. You buy coffee because you didn't prep your coffee the night before. You Uber because you're running late. You buy things that you already own because you've forgotten where things are or that you bought it. I literally did this the other day. I accidentally bought two fans because I was in a chaotic state and I bought two fans when I was meant to buy one. You spend more because you get that dopamine rush. When you're feeling overwhelmed, that dopamine rush is so delightful but that means you're seeking that out so much more regularly. When you're overwhelmed, you seek that out so much more regularly. So if you will start to notice that when you're overwhelmed, your spending sprees, your impulse buys, they will shoot through the roof. When you're disorganized and your life is chaotic, you will find yourself throwing money at convenience and blowing the budget without even realizing it. Like, you'll still think you're sticking to a budget, and it won't be until like a few months later that you're like, oh wait, that went out the window and I didn't even notice. You stop following your spend plan. That's right. Sorry, we're not calling it a budget over here. You stop following your spend plan. It sounds so much nicer, doesn't it? Because life feels chaotic. It feels out of control, and your mental capacity for that spend plan is just out the window because you're in survival mode. That's what happens when your life is disorganized and chaotic. You are in survival mode. Disorganization is expensive. When you're disorganized, life gets pricey. And so the decide once rule saves you money because it removes that chaos. So let's hop to it. Money. This is where we're going to start, your money flows. This is the most obvious one that we need to set up. Your cash flow system, your spend plan, money management, whatever you want to call it. This is where we get this working like a well-oiled machine. But you cannot build a money flow until you know your annual cost of living. And I mean like your entire cost of living, everything. Your regular hair appointments, roughly how much you spend on clothes each year, your car, how much does your car cost you in insurance and registration, health insurance, things that come up yearly, Christmas. Don't forget to budget for Christmas. We didn't do that this year and it bit us in the bum. Expenses that you know happen every single year, divide that by 12 and you know how much to put aside each month. You need to know how much you're spending on groceries, truly how much you're spending on groceries, how much you're spending eating out, socializing, health, going to the doctor, medication. You need to know those. What else? What else have we got? Birthdays, birthday presents. Don't be forgetting to add those to the money plan because you will be buying presents, I assure you. Memberships, subscriptions, vet bills, any expenses you can think of, just vomit them out onto your paper. Just list out everything that you can think of. Then, once you've sort of got the titles, once you've got the categories, the titles, blurted out onto paper, then you're going to go back through your bank account. Yes, I know. This is probably the only tedious part of the entire system. Please, just stick with me here. It's not going to take that long. It's gonna hurt a little bit. It's gonna make you be like a bit uncomfortable. But let me tell you, once you've done this, you're gonna feel a weight off your shoulders. It's all gonna be right there in front of you. You're not gonna be like dealing with an unknown. Once you know it, you can deal with it, okay? This is the only thing. This is the only time I'm ever going to ask you to track your expenses, okay? Please do it. So go through the last 3 months of your expenses, your transactions, and just figure out how much you're spending on groceries and eating out and all of those categories. It's going to take you a little while, but just bite the bullet. Just do it. Do it with someone else if it makes you feel better, because I can guarantee you're both going to be shocked at how much you're spending. So depending on your pay cycle, like if you get paid monthly, convert it to a monthly expense. If you get paid fortnightly, convert it to a fortnightly expense. So then you know in your spend plan how much you need to put aside each fortnight. You know what is the magic of this is like over the Christmas period. So I get paid weekly at work and everyone at my work is just used to getting paid weekly. We got paid for 3 weeks in advance over the Christmas period. Do you know how many conversations I heard in the office about people being like, oh, I've already spent half my paycheck. It was like a month's worth of pay and I've already spent it all. And they were like all talking about how they had spent all of their money and how it was hard getting paid a month in advance. If you get paid monthly, this money flow, this system that we're setting up, this will save you, because I didn't even flinch. I just put all of the money, it just sat there in my income account, which is linked to our offset. And then every fortnight, I know our fortnightly expenses, including all of our property expenses and mortgage and everything, is $4,987. I know that off the top of my head. Fortnightly, that's what our living expenses are. That's what it costs for us to just live on the bare minimum without any extra discretionary spending. So I know that like every fortnight, that's just what's going to come out of the income account and into our spending account. And so I didn't have to think about it. I didn't have to even think like, oh, there's so much money there. I didn't have to fight that in my head. There was no choice. There was no power struggle. There was no battle. I didn't have to win or lose anything. It just was. So like the power of this system, and if you get paid monthly, this is going to be beautiful for you. Most people aren't bad with money. They're just surprised by expenses that they really should have seen coming. Car registration, your yearly health insurance bill, Christmas. These sorts of expenses wipe us out, but they're not a surprise. They come around every single year. So if you are prepared for them, if you have a sinking fund in your spend plan, in your money flow every single month, you shouldn't have to think twice when those expenses come up. We like to have dedicated accounts that pre-label our money. So for example, we have a bills account, and every fortnight we take our income and we put a portion of that towards our bills. That's basically like pre-spent money because we know it's going to be taken at some point in the year. Your future self should never, ever, ever have to pull from your savings account to pay for something that was predictable, that you knew was coming. That should never happen. And the way that you prevent that from happening, from having to dip into your savings for something like car registration or Christmas time, is to gradually save in very small increments for it throughout the year. So we set up different accounts, we name those accounts, and then every pay period, we look at our little spend plan and we go, okay, $1,000 going to bills, $650 going to rent, $200 going to entertainment, $300 going to groceries. And we just shuffle it across, and then we know how much we have for that pay period to spend. This is seriously magic because it is pre-deciding where your money goes. It removes the decision fatigue that you go through every single time you step up to the counter or when you go out to buy something and you're like, oh, can I really afford this? And you go through that agony and it's back and forth, back and forth. And even if you can't afford it, you buy it anyway, right? Most of the time. But this is like pre-deciding. So when you set up this budget, what you're doing now, when you set up this spend plan, you're deciding once where your money goes, and then you automate it. So you have this little spreadsheet where it tells you exactly how much you need because you've calculated your total cost of living for the year. You know how much you need. And as a little pro tip, we sometimes have a buffer account. So we add in a little bit of extra money sitting there, a couple of $1,000s, and then that just covers us for any of those buffer expenses. That way, we never have to pull from our savings or our investments. So you're deciding at the very beginning for the whole year where all of your money is going. Then all you have to do when your money comes in is run it through the split. So $650 goes to rent, $1,000 to bills, $200 to entertainment, $80 to coffee, $100 to, well, more than that, $300 to groceries. Like you just split it, you run it through the split and you do a quick transfer across. This is such an empowering system because it really means you have already decided and you've already decided how much you're going to spend for everything, and you don't have to do that mental gymnastics to calculate whether I can afford this or not. Because it's such a quick process, like the setting it up is the longest time that it's going to take. So you'll probably spend like an hour, maybe 2 hours setting this up. And then every pay period, it literally takes like 10 minutes. 10 minutes to transfer it all across, and then you're set up for that pay period. To me, that is such a good payoff. It gives you so much clarity, like so much clarity over your money. You never at any point in the year are like, I'm saving really hard. Where's all my money going? You never have that question because it's like, it's all right there. You know what you're doing with it. Like you might overspend some weeks. That's fine. I mean, that's what the buffer account is for. I think having like a healthy buffer account removes any stress. But you got it when you're setting this up, you have to be like realistic. You can't set yourself on $100 grocery budget. Like it's just not going to happen, right? You have to be realistic. So make sure that you're sort of overestimating so that then you're not overspending, because there's nothing like overspending to just kill any motivation that you have in terms of your savings goals. So yeah, this flow, this money flow, it gives you such clarity and power over your life. And then clarity means that you have less emotional spending. Because I don't know about you, but I spend way more when I feel like I've been spending more and I'm out of control with my finances. Like the more I spend, because I get stressed about it. I have feelings of guilt and shame, and I'm like freaking out about how much money I've spent. And then like I find myself spending even more money. But if I have a sense of grounding, a sense of clarity, a sense of control over it, maybe control is not the right word, but like confidence and intentionality over how my money is being used, I don't have this like really weird urge to overspend and get that like dopamine hit. It's sort of like must be there to like mask the guilt or something. Some psychologist in the comments, please let me know what that is, but it's a real thing. I'm sure you've experienced it too. Less emotional spending obviously equals more savings. The most financially stable people aren't making better decisions than you. They're just making fewer decisions. They're not wasting their decision-making power on these micro decisions about their money every day. They've decided once, they've set up the system, they've set up the flow, and then it's just on autopilot from there. Because once you've pre-decided where your money is going to go, you stop arguing with yourself. There's no negotiating. There's a little bit of negotiating sometimes, but it stops that overall like battle with yourself. It's pre-decided, it's done. You feel good about it, and so you stick to it. Honestly, it's such a hack to really keep this nice and tight and flowing. You want this money flow to flow through the whole year. I would encourage you to set up like a monthly tidy up ritual. So every month you kind of sit down, you have a look at your savings account, you look at your progress, you see where you're overspending or underspending, and you tweak. You tweak how much money you're giving yourself in those buckets. You keep it tidy on an ongoing basis, but not every day. It's like a monthly little check-in, and it shouldn't take that long. It should be pretty quick, because you will find that once this has been all pre-decided, you will stick to it the best you've ever stuck to a budget. This monthly tidy up ritual is, I think, what kept us on track to saving $40,000 this year. Basically, your money system is 20% setup and 80% maintenance. Your 20% setup is now, and that maintenance is an hour a month. So trust me, try this. Try this year and let me know how you go. Okay, the next step is your food flows. Now, this is a hidden money saver. I want you to just put aside any associations with diet or guilt or shame, okay? Because this is not what this is about. This is about feeling good. It's about saving money. It is about getting back on top of your life and feeling flow rather than resistance. And it is about saving money. I want you to put all of that icky diet culture bullshit aside, okay? When we're talking about food flows, this is the hidden money saver. This is where you're going to see yourself save the most. I heard someone once say, like, we're eating our retirement, and it is no joke. Like, buying food out is so expensive, and if you're not careful, so is the grocery shop. So we really have to be intentional with this. Food is the number one place where chaos is going to show up in your bank account. The money you spend on food is the number one place where your chaotic life is truly going to reveal itself through your bank account. Okay, so this is the weekly formula that we have followed to really keep a lid on our grocery spend and our eating out spend. So number one, we have an entertainment fund every week that we are allowed to go out and eat out, and we use that fund. Number two, we have a coffee/lunches fund. So not for every day at work, but for whatever days that we choose, we have a certain amount of money in a little fun account in a little lunches account where we can spend on coffee or lunch if we didn't have time to prep our food for the next day, or for whatever reason there wasn't food prepped. So that there's never a time where you're like, oh shit, I don't have meal prep today and now I have to blow the budget because now I have to spend money on food. It's like, that's what your lunch and coffee account is there for. Or if you just feel like buying lunch that day, you can use that account. Every Sunday I cook one very big batch of veggie pasta, some sort of spaghetti and veggie, or like tuna pasta. Tuna pasta is like the cheapest meal that you can ever make. It is brilliant. I will write a little recipe maybe in the show notes. Some sort of big pasta, and it's just made in a huge container. It's just made sitting in the fridge for dinners or lunches if we need a spare lunch. The toddler loves it. It is so good and so cheap, and it is packed with protein and vegetables. Then I prep and it also takes like no time at all to cook. Then I prep a second meal. That could be a stir fry or a curry or a shepherd's pie or something like that. So then we have 2 dinners in the fridge ready to go for the week. And I prep a really big batch. So like I'm one of 6 kids, and basically I just prep a meal that would have fed our family of 8, like what I used to do when I was a teenager and I'd cook dinner at home. I cook that size meal, and then that lasts us for the week. So we have 2 of those sitting in the fridge, and we can alternate dinners if we like, or we can take some for lunches. And then I just cook up with paprika and salt a really big batch, like 2 kilos of chicken. And every day we just take some chicken and salad or chicken and rice for lunches. I like to do a chia seed pudding for the mornings, or sometimes I'm off chia seed pudding. I'm real love-hate relationship there. Don't know why. Sometimes it really icks me out, and sometimes I'm obsessed. Or I do like an egg wrap or scrambled eggs the night before, ready to take in the morning, because we just do not have time to eat breakfast in the morning when we're out the door by 7:10. So we have to take breakfast on the go. Otherwise we're spending like $20 before 8 a.m., which is rough, right? The weekly prep on the Sunday is so good. It saves us so much money because we have cheap meals down pat, and we have our lunches all there. Then that frees up our weekends to be able to have like intentional nice times where we go to a cafe and we spend money, because we haven't overspent on like shitty work lunches during the week that mean nothing to us. So that is a really good flow as well. It also just keeps that little bit of routine there, and it just means that like the mental energy of what are we going to have for dinner tonight, poof, gone. It was done. I decided that once on Sunday, and now here you go, there's dinner. Number 3 is the home flows. Clutter is where you're going to see a money leak. This is where you're going to see that little hole in your bucket where money is just dripping through. Really cluttered, messy home makes you spend more money because you feel overwhelmed, and like your body is seeking out safety and like a dopamine hit. You don't know what you have, you can't find things, you're just feeling stressed and overwhelmed. And like it just creates this sort of disorganization in your brain, which then flows into, I can't even quite explain it, but like a tidy home or a tidy room really changes how, like what your experience is with money and what you buy and when you buy and the impulse spending. I think the biggest thing is the impulse spending here, because it's just so overwhelming when things are messy and you feel like your breath is like, you know, like you just feel on edge. And so if it's tidy, you just are like more calm. You're moving through life calmer. You don't need to seek out those like dopamine hits through impulse buys. So what we have started to do is a 10-minute blitz before we go to bed at night. So we set the timer. You can't do any more than 10 minutes because otherwise you'll never come back and do it, because you're like, that took us so long last time. So you set the timer and you go 10 minutes. There's 2 of us, so we blitz the house, prep for the next day, and we're good. And like, look, it's not perfect. During the week, it's a bit messy. Like right now, you can't see it, but I can see it. There's a jumper on the chair over there. My lip balm's sitting over there. There's the base of a bowl, like, you know, the rubber base of a bowl, it's sitting on the why is that there? But like generally speaking, the house is fairly tidy, so we're not in that overwhelmed state. Another thing is that everything has a place, and this, coming from someone with like real rough ADHD, and like I used to live in a state of organized chaos, the everything has a place rule, again, it's decided once. You've pre-decided where that goes. My husband taught me this, and I can't, the sigh of relief that it gives you when you just know exactly where that thing is the minute you need it, it's right there. It's right there. And you're just like, you open the cupboard and you're like, boop, there it is. Or you open the drawer and you're like, boop, there it is. Another thing that it really helps is that when you get home, or like you're tidying up and you're like, what is this thing? Where does this go? That never happens to us. We don't have one of those like trash drawers, the clutter drawers. We don't have one of those, but we used to. I'm certain. Oh yeah, in my room when I was a kid, like my drawers were just, I always had at least one drawer of just like clutter where I would shove everything. We don't have that anymore because everything has a very specific place. It is so good. You don't lose anything. You always know where it is. I mean, we do still lose some things, but rarely. Now, all of these things, especially if you struggle with ADHD, like me, they are really hard to implement. So please do not be harsh on yourself, but just start to slowly be like, oh yeah, this one thing, I could definitely have a place for that. Or like, the 10-minute rule I find really helpful for someone with a brain like me. That is really helpful because I don't get like hyper fixated on cleaning and then like an hour's gone by and I'm like, oh, now I'm going to bed late. Or vice versa, when you're like, oh, it's like so late already. I'm so exhausted already. I can't be bothered, which would happen a lot to me. I'm just that kind of person. But you're like, it's only 10 minutes. I can do anything for 10 minutes, even when I'm tired, So the timer really helps because you're like, time is done. Everything else can wait till tomorrow. And then just in terms of like with kids, so we have a toddler and he has an insane amount of toys. I don't even know where all of these toys came from, but we do a toy rotation so he doesn't get overwhelmed. It means that there's less clutter, and it also means you're not buying toys a lot because you're like, we don't need to buy new toys. There are toys away that we'll bring out and they'll feel like brand new toys. When we did this last year, we brought out a box of his old toys and he was ecstatic. He was like pulling things out like he's never seen them before. Like it was like Christmas. It was awesome. You know what else is a really good flow to have in your home flow is a laundry flow, like a washing system. So for me, because we have a smaller family, we have specific days of the week that we do washing. So our washing work from home day, or our washing Sundays. So then you just know that those are the days that you do washing. Obviously, you have to change it if it's going to be a rainy day, but that is really helpful as well. I think why it's so helpful is that your brain's not like when you go to sit down to do a task, like work on your business or something that might earn you money, you're not going, oh, I really need to do the washing. Oh, I really need to tidy the house. Oh, I really need to. It's like you've got preset times for those things. So you go, well, is it my work from home day? No. Is it Wednesday? No. Is it Sunday? No, I don't do the washing, or if you have a bigger family, like my mother-in-law does sheets and towels on a Monday and then whites on a Wednesday and I don't know, colors on a Friday. Like she has set times so that it's a little bit more just routine and organized, and like there's no time wasting decision making. Like again, for someone with ADHD like myself, the decision making is where we lose so much time. So often I'm like in a state of paralysis because I'm like, there are so many things that need to be done and I do not know which one to do. And now I'm just going to sit here and do nothing. And now 2 hours have passed and boom, I've done nothing. None of my to-do list. And I'm in a state of panic. But if you've pre-decided what your week looks like or pre-decided when those flows happen, you don't even have to think. It's just I get up and I do that. On my work from home day, I have a little sleep in. I get up, I put the washing on. Like it's like such a nice little automatic system that I don't have to waste any brain power on. Chaos in your home, in your life, it creates spending. Once you introduce these flows, the flows creates calm, which creates clarity. So your home system, your home flow is actually part of your money flow. So it is just as important as everything else. The last one that I will touch on is just like your life and calendar, your life and calendar flow. This is where the decision fatigue really matters, and where like you will lose a lot of money because your brain power is exhausted. And so again, you'll be doing impulse buys, spending money on convenience. Like the decision fatigue equals a blow up of your money spend plan. When you're running late it's more expensive. You have to get an Uber. Or if you've forgotten someone's birthday, you will suddenly have to buy a more expensive present because you couldn't hunt for it on sale. Forgotten tasks. You have to order something quickly and pay for express shipping out of convenience. Any sort of overcommitment, that's going to be expensive. Burnout, expensive. Burnout is expensive. So make sure you're setting up a system for your life and for your calendar, a life flow, a calendar flow that allows for the decide once rule to really set up your life and remove that resistance. Connor and I have a shared Google Calendar. That is just the basis point of any sort of family organization. A shared Google Calendar is incredible. We put appointments, we put everything in. That is just like the basic of basics. Get a shared Google Calendar if you don't already have that. We have a weekly routine drafted up on a whiteboard in our bedroom behind the door, where we know what each person is doing for the week. And we have a little session at least once a week on a Sunday, normally is ideal, where we go, okay, Monday night I have Pilates. Tuesday night, oh, you have to work late. Okay, so what do we need to do to reshuffle our base routine? Firstly, it all kind of links back to the other ones we've spoken about, but we set up like a routine for the week where we know what days we're doing what. Like Monday, Wednesday is our resistance training. Tuesday, Thursday, they're our runs. Sunday is our long run. Saturday morning, we have swimming with Henry. Like you have certain days for certain things. Sunday is washing and meal prep. What else? Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is podcast work. Like I know what I'm doing on each day. And so that really helps. But then you have to have a quick check-in each week, like on Sunday night, in order to go, okay, that's our base routine, but what's changing this week? What sort of commitments have come up that we need to adjust our routine for, like working late or some sort of social commitment, or I don't know, things come up through the week and you need to be able to adjust, and you can't adjust your routine unless you have had that little check-in. Good time management is more good decision management. The more you can reduce your decision fatigue, the more pockets of time you have freed up and you find yourself being way more productive. Every decision that you remove from your life saves you money because it reduces that decision fatigue. Every decision you remove to alleviate your decision fatigue is saving you money. If you have ADHD in particular, 1,000% good time management is decision management. It is removing the decision from the equation. If you decide once at the beginning of the week, you wake up every day and you know exactly what you have to do that day. There is no decision paralysis. There is no panic sitting there going, I have 1 hour. What am I supposed to do with this time? That doesn't occur anymore because it's automatic. You don't have to think about it. Like, trust me, I have battled with this for so long, and this is the best solution that I have found. And I really hope that it helps you too. We achieved every single one of our goals this year because our systems, our flows carried us through the weeks when life felt chaotic. The decide once rule is what allowed us to literally hit every single one of our massive financial goals, our life goals, buying an investment property, completing 2 half marathons for the first time, completing 75 hard, getting a promotion, saving $40,000. This is what got us there. The decide once rule, setting up the money systems, the life systems, making sure your life flows and removes the chaos and the decision making. That's what's going to do it for you in 2026. Catch you next time. Okay, love you. Bye.